as we welcome in Sean O'Hara into the mix here. Willie and Sean, listen, it's going to be a tall order for the Cowboys offensive line, who are trying to keep Dak Prescott clean and upright. They'll be doing so also without Zach Martin, who tested positive for COVID-19 and will not be eligible. Right. So how will his absence impact the Cowboys offense here, Willie?
Well, I think it's going to be tough when you're looking at one of the best defenses and one of the best front sevens. It's always a tall order. Look at what the Kansas City Chiefs had to deal with. And yes, they had some problems, but the Cowboys are healthier. They do get some of the guys that wasn't there last year at the end of the year back on the football field. But when you look at Todd Bowles and what this defense does, they blitz almost 40% of the time. He's going to mix and match. He's going to find the matchup. He's going to move guys around. And, of course, they got guys on the outside with Barrett and Pierre-Paul that can rush, but they also got a force inside with Sue and Vita Vea. So they do a lot of rushes with their front four, Sean, but they also add those linebackers and mix things up. So they want to see if the rust is really off Dak and if he's really where he needs to be week one.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Willie. Todd Bowles has got this defense with pinning their ears back. They're in full attack mode. And not having Zach Martin is a huge blow to this Cowboys offense. Not just the offensive line, but you just showed that board, MJ, which talked about the Bucs defense. Number one against the run last year. So guess what? First and second down, normally they would run the football right behind Zach Martin. Now it's Connor McGovern, who's got 9 starts under his belt. And he's a young buck. He's going to have his hands full with Vita Vea and with Ndamukong Suh. So that's going to be a big challenge. And on first and second down, I know Mike McCarthy wants to air it out and he wants to unleash Dak Prescott. But if you don't take care of first and second down, now, Willie, I know you were licking your chops when it was 3rd and 7,
third and 8,
long,
here we come.
So Shaq Barrett, JPP and Shaq Barrett just teeing off the edges right there. This could be a long night for these Dallas Cowboys tackles. Tyron Smith's been battling to stay on the field. Lyle Collins missed all of last year. So, man, this with the Cowboys with the football, I'm going to be very curious to see how they handle first and second down, because third down could be a nightmare.
Well, listen, when Dak hits the field on Thursday, it will have been 333 days since the last time he was in a regular season game action. So what are you expecting from that first game for Dak back from injury, Willie?
Well, I don't expect him to throw the ball 45 times against this defense. I expect him to try and have some balance and run the football. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I want to test Dak out. I want to talk about the ankle. I want to see how his movement is and his mobility, how versatile he is. I want to see if the shoulder is that good. And because of all the things that went on, I don't think they're going to put him in that position. You don't just throw your star quarterback out there in the first week and you throw the ball 50 times like when he left from the injury, or you put him in harm's way, especially against a seasoned defense and a seasoned play caller in Todd Bowles. I think they take care of him. I think they run the football. They get the ball out of his hands quick, and they make him comfortable. Throwing the ball 45 times not working against this defense.
Yeah, I think, Willie, with Dak, it's going to be early on, just a couple of quick throws. He's going to be juiced up. He's going to be amped up. It's his first game back, and I think quarterbacks early on, they have a tendency to overthrow people, and they don't even realize, but they're airmailing it because they're so jacked up. So for him to just kind of get that first hit under his belt and kind of calm down and come back to normal speed. But I have no doubt Todd Bowles is going to bring a cowboy blitz. And when I say cowboy blitz, that's what we call a corner blitz. Oh, he's going to test him. He wants to know, Dak, can you get out of the pocket, and do you trust your legs? And how do you feel when you're on the move? So they're going to absolutely try to test him. I think the big question mark in all this, Willie, is what kind of Cowboys defense are we going to see? I think Dan Quinn is going to, he's going to be a great addition to this defense throughout the season as he gets to know these guys. But their defense is going to dictate how much Dak throws the football. True. Tom Brady, we just talked about him last year. He didn't have training camp, with the COVID, no preseason, and they didn't peak till halfway through the year. So Tom Brady is going to be better in week 1 than he was in all of last year, just because he's got more time under his belt. So that'll be a big challenge for Dallas Cowboys defense. Right. Can they keep their offense and give them the ability to still run the football early on in this game?
Let's catch you up on the latest headlines from around the league. Mike Garafolo joining us now. And Mike G, Ravens tight end Mark Andrews cashing in on his extension.
That's right, MJ. $14 million a year on a 4-year, $56 million contract. That slots him in on an average per year basis at third amongst tight ends, and pretty good company. Travis Kelce ahead of him, as well as George Kittle at the top of the market. Now, Andrews wanted a 4-year deal, unlike the 5-year deal that Kittle got, because he wants to get another payday down the line, and he could do that. He'll be 30 at the end of the contract. Still a chance for him to either get another extension with the Ravens or hit the free agent market at that age of 30. Meanwhile, more Ravens news in their backfield after the team lost J.K. Dobbins to that season-ending ACL and Justice Hill, their third-string running back, to an Achilles injury. They said, well, we've got to sign somebody. So they worked out a bunch of folks in the last couple days and wound up signing Le'Veon Bell, which is really interesting because they passed on him as a free agent a couple of years ago, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Bell going to sign to the practice squad. They only have 2 active running backs, so a good chance he winds up on their active roster. But hold the phone when you talk about him maybe jumping to the front here, because Gus Edwards, Tyson Williams, 2 guys they are still high on in their backfield.
It's Tuesday, so you know we need a top 5 tonight. Willie and Sean, we got a good one for you, too. It is the Week 1 battle in the trenches. Willie trying to get to the QB, Sean trying to protect him. So we talked Cowboys-Bucs earlier. So, Sean, give us another battle that you're watching in Week 1.
Yeah, MJ, another great hand-to-hand combat battle going on. How about the Packers taking on the Saints? And look, I think the Saints have one of the best offensive lines in the entire NFL. 2 of the best tackles, certainly Ryan Ramczyk and Teron Armstead. And I know all the focus has been on Jameis Winston, but man, the way they run the football, the way they use Alvin Kamara, the way they are able to get him to the perimeter in the run game, it's phenomenal. And I'm curious to see how this Packers defense holds up. I know Zadarius Smith is a little bit of a game wrecker, and they like to move him all around. But this Saints offensive line, I think their interior is very powerful, very underrated at times. So I'm curious to see how this battle shapes up. Of course, we'll all be watching Jameis versus AR.
Yeah, no holding, Sean. And yeah, the Preston brothers along with Kenny Clark, those guys get after the quarterback. But a matchup that I'm watching is really trench warfare, okay? That's the Washington football team versus the L.A. Chargers. Now, the L.A. Chargers got a revamped offensive line. They bring over Corey Linsley from Green Bay. They draft Rashawn Slater, their first-round pick out of Northwestern. Brian Bulaga is the only returning starter. Now, some say that the Washington football team has the best front 7 in the game. Okay, they got the House of Pain. They got Allen. They got Chase Young. And, yeah, ain't no Sweat on the outside. They got Sweat that can get after the quarterback. Nobody is saying that they're just going to dominate. But what I'm saying is, Sean, everybody's saying that they're the best. So when you watch this matchup, it's going to be a little tough for the Chargers. And I like the Chargers. It's going to be a little tough.
Yeah, Washington, man, they're a handful up front. Listen, if you've got Austin Eckler on your fantasy team, Willie, he might get a lot of receptions. He might get I call it a hunch. I expect a lot of draws and screens against that defensive line. All right, let's go back to my former team, the New York Giants. They're hosting the Denver Broncos at 4:25 p.m. And for anybody that's been paying attention to the Giants in the last year and in training camp, their tackles have been struggling a little bit. So Andrew Thomas, the 4th overall pick, guess what? You're going to get a heavy dose of Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. The right tackle, Matt Parrott, they've been trying to give him every opportunity to become the starter and beat out Nate Solder at right tackle. And look, he struggled against some joint practices against the Patriots. So that matchup, right out of the gate, those guys are going to get tested. So look for the Giants and Daniel Jones to have some game plans up there to try to take Miller and Chubb out of the equation. Both those guys coming off injuries, so no doubt they've got something to prove this year.
Yeah, Sean, and that offensive line is not like your championship Giants offensive line. They got some work to do, and they'll have their hands full. Vaughn coming off injury and Chubb ready to go as well. How about when you look at Pro Football Focus #1 offensive line, the Browns? Yes, the Brownies, going against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, when you look at what the Browns do as far as running the football and protection, nobody is better in protecting. And I hate to lean towards the offensive line, and I see you smiling over there, Sean, but I think the Browns have the advantage. I don't know if Clark is going to play in this first game, but Chris Jones is a beast. He'll be playing some interior, and he's lost some weight. He's in shape now. They'll be moving him to the outside. Watch that battle to go right there. And then on the other side, okay, you got Clowney and you got Myles Garrett going against that revamped offensive line. So it's going to be trench warfare on both sides of the ball, both D-lines and both O-lines going at it, Sean.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Andy Reid's going to have something up his sleeve to try to slow down both of those edge rushers. All right, listen, we've talked about some good battles, some even battles. Let's talk about a battle that looks like a complete mismatch. I mean, we're talking about like a senior in high school going up against a freshman right now. The Chicago Bears are going to take on the Los Angeles Rams. And that man you're seeing on your screen is the most disruptive defensive player in the entire NFL, Aaron Donald. But he's also got Leonard Floyd on the outside, and they're going to be attacking poor old Andy Dalton. Are you kidding me? You want to talk about bear down? I'm worried for Andy Dalton. The offensive line, their rookie that they drafted is on IR. He had a back injury, and I'm just worried that we might see Justin Fields a little bit sooner than everybody expected because I don't know how they're going to function against this front.
Don't do it, Sean. Don't put that kid behind that offensive line. They got injuries. They got guys out for the year. They didn't protect in the preseason. And when you got Aaron Donald and those guys coming to town, they're going to be licking their chops. This is what we call, Sean, and you heard this before, a stat game for the Rams defensive line.
Willie, who are you excited to see break out in their NFL debut week 1?
Micah Parsons, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Micah was doing a lot of talking in camp saying he wanted to come off the field. And he didn't want to come off the field, he needed more reps. Guess what? Week 1, kickoff game. You're the only show in town, the very biggest stage against the defending champs. I asked you in camp when I interviewed you, who did you want to sack out of all the people? You said Tom Brady because he's the GOAT. The ball is going to be coming out quick. He's got a lot of weapons over there. They're going to run the football. One of the best offenses in the league. Micah, the stage is set. There's nothing else to talk about. It's time to get down. I want to see you do your thing. You talked about it, so here we go.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see Micah Parsons running all over that field. I'm going to go down to Atlanta and the Falcons and their tight end, Kyle Pitts. Listen, when you look at the NFL, the tight end position is kind of morphing. And look, I had a fantasy draft last week where Travis Kelce went like 5th overall. Darren Waller went in the first round. I mean, people are drafting tight ends ahead of the receivers. It's mind-boggling, but that's the world that we're in right now, as far as the fantasy world, that is. Kyle Pitts, the acceleration, the burst, his ability after the catch, I think it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to see the highlight plays. But, Willie, here's the thing that jumps out at me even more than that with Kyle Pitts. His wingspan is almost 7 feet long.
I know.
So I know Matt Ryan loves to throw the ball up to his tight ends in the red zone. Look, not since Tony Gonzalez have they had a tight end with 7 touchdowns and over 800 yards. I think Kyle Pitts changes that. His wingspan at almost 7 feet, it's bigger than DK Metcalf's. So I know down in the red zone, Matt Ryan's going to be looking for Kyle Pitts.
How? That's insanity. All right, well, I've got my eye on a certain rookie running back we could not stop talking about leading up to the draft, Najee Harris. Of course, we saw him go up toe-to-toe against Micah Parsons in that Hall of Fame game. Well, listen, Harris and the Steelers taking on the Bills week 1, hoping to have the league leader in sacks in the lineup to get after Josh Allen. Mac Jones was officially named the Patriots' starting quarterback last week after Cam Newton was released. Well, today, the rookie told WEEI that he was not surprised that he won the starting job.
Were you surprised?
Not really. I mean, like I always say, I prepare to be the starter, and every day you come in and I got a chance to get a lot of reps, so nothing really changes, just trying to be a good teammate, trying to learn the plays every day.
Were you able to have a conversation with Cam Newton upon his release?
Yeah, I think just obviously he was a really good mentor to me, and I know we'll stay in touch. Ever since I came here, he knew that I was here to help him and he was here to help me. So I never felt like we were butting heads or anything like that. And obviously Cam's a great guy and he's a great player.
All right, time for Ask the Aces, presented by Ace, the helpful place. Willie, you heard Mac Jones there. He wasn't surprised. Mac Jones! That he got the starting job there. Not lacking any confidence either. So, does he lead the Patriots back to the playoffs?
Okay, we changed that because we said Super Bowl earlier, so now we're saying playoffs. All right, why not? Why not get back to the playoffs? And I think the Patriots all around is a way better team defensively and offensively. And when you add a guy at the quarterback position that takes care of the football, one, and that is smart, that can digest Josh McDaniels' playbook and make all the right decisions, go through his progressions, go through his reads, move just enough in the pocket, get the ball out, and don't turn it over, that's a perfect ingredient for not only winning the division, but getting back into the playoffs. So when you add so many pieces, like I said, it's a team thing in New England. It's not just about the quarterback position, which is extremely important. It's a defense, it's the running game, it's the receivers they added, and it's a quarterback that can push the ball downfield, that's a good decision maker. Yes, guys, they do have an opportunity to get back to the playoffs.
A little asterisk there on opportunity. I hear you. All right, Sean, we heard Aditi giving us the lowdown there on TJ Watt. No doubt that he's the face of that defense, but I want to go to the other side of the ball real quick. And the offense. Is Ben Roethlisberger that Super Bowl caliber quarterback that we know that he can be, Sean?
Yeah, I think he's still got it. And you know what's going to help Ben's old, legs? The young, fresh legs of Najee Harris. I think when you look at the talent around Ben right now, he knows exactly what he can and can't do anymore. And he knows how to distribute the football. Like, keep in mind that through the first 3 months of the season last year, the Steelers were the best team in the NFL. They were undefeated. And then the wheels fell off. But I think this offense is going to look different. I think Matt Canada is going to spatially attack the perimeters of this defense. They're going to create a new drinking game in Pittsburgh. Take a sip every time they run a jet sweep. Because Matt Canada loves to use speed right pre-snap and have guys running in motion. And all of a sudden, the defense is on their heels. So I like Ben in this offense. My big question mark is what's going on up front? No David DeCastro. Alejandro Villanueva is playing for the Baltimore Ravens. Pouncey's no longer there. So for the first time, Ben's got some new faces in front of him. That ball's going to come out quick.
All right, Sean, MJ already said that the Tampa Bay Bucs are not going to have a Super Bowl hangover. But let's talk about how hard it is to defend a Super Bowl. I've been on both sides. Won a Super Bowl, lost, and then went back to a Super Bowl and then won again. You've been in this situation. Talk about the trials and tribulations and the tough task of defending a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Willie, it's hard to do just because you've got to maintain the eye of the tiger, and it's not. Hey, look, is everybody excited on game day? It's Monday through Friday, Willie. Are guys still willing to do all the little things that got you to the Super Bowl the year before? Right. All of the extra little film study, the extra little workouts, and one of the toughest things I think to see if you're a head coach is when you start seeing guys leaving the building a little bit earlier. Not as many guys staying on the practice field. Guys thinking like, we got it. Or, you know what, we're good enough that we can overcome those mistakes and the sloppiness. So, that aspect of it is a huge part. I'll say this, Willie. After we won Super Bowl 42, that next year, we were a better team. That was the best team I had ever been on. And going into training camp, knowing we were the defending Super Bowl champions, it raised our standard of excellence. So that accountability, it actually got better. But I think as our team found out that year, you have to be playing your best football at the end of the season. It's not always about who's the best team during the entire season. It's
Sean, that's
play
key.
Your best when it matters the most.
That's key right there because teams get complacent. And if you're the Tampa Bay Bucs this year, you're listening to the media and everybody talk about, hey, you're returning all your starters. Everybody signed back. You guys started to peak at the end of the season. You started to get better going into this season right here. And when guys take deals, guys do it 1 year, guys say, I want to stay in Tampa because I know what we have is special, but you're hearing how good you are and all the outside noise that goes on. It's tough for a head coach to keep you motivated. It's hard for him to keep putting things in front of you to keep you wanting to go and doing those extra things that you talked about, watching extra tape, working out, making sure that guys are doing everything they need to do on the football field. It's tough, especially when you know you're a good football team. So if they didn't have good leadership like Tom Brady and some of the guys on defense, Devin White, Levante David, if they didn't have seasoned coaches, then I would say, yeah, they're probably drinking their own Kool-Aid, feeling themselves. But after talking to a lot of players and being around those guys, I can tell you, they are as hungry as ever.
So a lot of the usual suspects, guys, but there's always somebody trying to creep into that top 10. So who do you think will be in that top 10, Willie, after week one?
A team that I thought would be in there week one, the Tennessee Titans. And when you add an explosive player like Julio Jones, one of the most dynamic receivers in the game, if he's healthy, to go along with A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry in the backfield. That's the dynamic trio. Those guys will get anybody on the alert on defensive side. And speaking of the defensive side, they revamped their secondary. They got some new pieces, and they added Bud Dupree and Autry to help with the pass rush. So a team that goes out and makes so many moves to bring players in to help that was already good at 11-5 last year. They didn't crack the top 10. What's up, Dan?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. There's a head scratcher. I'll say this. I think the Saints at 15, has everybody forgotten about how good their defense was last year? Has everybody forgotten about Cam Jordan and his ability to get to the quarterback? Now, look, they're playing the Green Bay Packers in week 1, and look, I think that I can smell an upset coming in this one, because the last time we saw Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, he was without his left tackle, David Bakhtiari. They were getting run out of the building by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Shaq Barrett, and JPP. The same thing could be happening against the Saints. And that defense, if they start teeing off on people, Marcus Davenport, if they start abusing these tackles like we saw the offensive tackles for Green Bay Packers get abused in the NFC Championship game, we could have a repeat of that one. And I'll tell you what, the Saints, they'll be in that top 10.
You got to talk about old stuff, Sean.
You got to bring up old stuff. You know, I was going to say that Hansas gets a lot of stuff on social media for this, but it looks like we sort of started it off here. So let's switch it a little bit. What surprised you? It could be a pleasant surprise on these power rankings for week 1.
The Seattle Seahawks are number 7, and they're always a good football team. They always compete, and they do very well. But I was just surprised to see them with the Chargers not in there. Like I said, the Titans not being in there. Seattle Seahawks number 7. So they working with something down there that a lot of people are not expecting. So I'm excited to see what the Seahawks are going to do this year, because they are a good football team. They're well coached, and this sets the precedent. They're in the top 10 now. They can't fall off.
Man, I love me some Dan Hanzus. But I just want to know what in the wild, wild world was going on in Hanzus's office when he decided to put 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 teams from the AFC East in the top 14. Look, the Buffalo Bills slam dunk. But we got Mac and Cheese, a rookie quarterback for the Patriots, and then Tua, who started 6 games. And we're just going to automatically throw both of those teams into the top 14 of the entire league. That seems a little fishy.
Hey, now.
I mean.